Hey guys, so who's ready for a wrap up? I've got 2 months of reading to wrap up because I just didn't have a time to film a November wrap up, but I only read 2 books, so I'm doing them together. I mainly only put my wrap ups together when I haven't actually read that many books. Like, I've only got 5 books to show you that took me 2 months to read. Like, I'm still so horrified with how bad this reading is, but at least I'm reading. At least some form of reading is happening. Part of me still feels like I am in a slump, but also I just don't have time, so I can't really get too angry about it. But I'm really excited to talk about what I've read. I listened to 3 audiobooks and only read 2 physical books, but it was a good time, so let's get into it. So the first book I listened to was It Happened One Summer by Abbeyleec. So obviously I have bought a physical copy of this book, but I did listen to this one on audiobook and I absolutely love this book. This was so much fun because it's like a Schitt's Creek inspired story, but as if it was like about Alexis, because our main character Piper is from a very rich family. Her father is a director of movies, and well, her stepfather, and she has this massive party and does a lot of illegal shit, and she gets cut off. So then she gets sent to the town where her birth father came from, but he died quite a few years ago, and she has no money, and her sister comes with her, and she basically has to be over there for 3 months before she's allowed to leave, and she wants to get out of it as soon as possible. And then she meets Brendan, who is a fisherman, and he completely changes her world because he's so different than what she expects. She doesn't want to fall in love with him, but then she does, and it's just such a great story because Piper goes through so much in this story. Like, having everything ripped away from her is an awful experience, but for her to realize her own self-worth and to know that she isn't just a dumb socialite, which she always has thought of herself. And it is funny because she does have that attitude. She is very clueless at the beginning in the book, and you can almost not root for her because she's just that personality that really can grind your gears. But she has this big heart, and I just really enjoyed her. And then Brendan as a character was really good as well because he's such a sincere man, and he's also been through a lot in his life because his wife died 7 years ago and he hasn't gotten over her, and he also feels this hey Mom, are you upstairs? I totally can't remember this word, can you help me? No, it's all good, I just thought of it. Loyalty! So he has this loyalty to his ex-wife, and he's never felt like this for anyone else since his ex-wife. And then he meets Piper, and then he just instantly loves her, like, in a sense. And it's really sweet because, like, obviously he has a lot of stuff that he has to deal with as well, and because he's a fisherman, it's a very dangerous world and a dangerous life, and he's also worried that her life is too much for what his life wants to be. So there's a lot that these two characters go through. But with Brendan, because all of Tessa Bailey's male characters are quite similar, he is a very possessive and, you know, I'm a man attitude, which I'm not a big fan of. Like, even though I like Brendan as a character and he is like less than some of them, like I'd say the worst ones have been Dominic and Travis from the Fixer Up series. Wes was actually a great character. This is the form of romance that she likes to write, so that aspect of it does piss me off because I'm just like, bitch, I can do what I need to do. I don't need no single man. I don't need none of your shit up in my business. But they are just like a perfect couple and a perfect story, and there were so many good things in this book. Like, it was just so good. I highly recommend. And then I finally finished the Caraval series by reading Finale by Stephanie Garber, and my god, I feel like this has been such a journey because I read Legendary last year and I planned on reading Finale not long after, and then I didn't. And then I finally picked this up because I brought it with me on the move to make myself read it, and I did do it. I did read this book. Trying to get some better like light in here because it's getting really dark. I filmed way too late, but I've been like out at my family's house for like most of the day. This book is from Scarlett and Teller's point of view, and we get to see like the overarching branch of this story of like where it's going to end. And I did really enjoy this, but I have to say, which is really ironic because I always loved Scarlett and Julian's relationship, but I was actually way more invested in Teller and Legend because their story is so good and I like the vibes, and there's a lot more stuff about immortality and about love and just very interesting concepts in the story, and I love the magic. And even though like with this series I feel like, I don't know, like I really liked Caraval, but then when I read Legendary it was really good, but I don't know, by this point I just felt like I was kind of a bit over it. Like, I did enjoy the story, but then again, like, I don't know, like I feel like it's not my favorite thing ever. Like, I'm so glad that I finally have finished the series, but part of me is just like, yeah, I don't, you know, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't know, maybe I just read it at the wrong time. Like, I'm really happy I did read it, but I could have, I don't know, like, I don't know. Like, maybe I needed to like reread Caraval or something because there was things that they were talking about that I'm like, what? what happened in that book? Like, I liked it, but part of me thinks I don't like it. Like, I don't know why I'm like on this epiphany right now in this video, but I'm just, yeah, I'm really happy. I really like the relationships and the magic. It's all fun. So obviously in December, I only read 3 books, and the first one was The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I honestly think this is gonna be one of my favorites of the year. Like, I loved it. It's got so many aspects that I truly, truly love. It's fake dating. It's kind of hate to love, but not really, because like, Adam kind of has a crush on her and she has a crush on him, and just, oh, like, it's so good. It's so good. Like, I want to talk about it, but I feel like I can't really talk about it, but I love them. I love them together. Like, it just makes me so happy. And I also want to let you know that there is a chapter of Adam's POV that you can read that just like brings me so much joy. Like, I love this so much, and I can't wait to see what else Ali Hazelwood is going to write, because she is got it. She's got the factor that is books I want to read. And I like that she writes sciencey books, even though I have no idea what's happening because I'm kind of stupid, but I really do love this. But also, this book is kind of based on Raylo fan fiction, and I'm obsessed. Like, it's not even, but it is. Like, the way they look is very Kylo and Rey. I love it. I've always been kind of obsessed with them, but then like the 9th Star Wars movie like was like so good. But I really did enjoy this. It was really good. They're really supportive of each other, and I love their conversations. I loved the banter. Like, everyone needs to read this. Like, this is a book I would highly, highly recommend if you haven't picked it up. I also buddy read it with Miranda, and it was just so much fun. And then I listened to Inner Holidays by Christina Lauren. So it's been a very long time since I've listened to a book by them, and they have so many adult contemporaries that are always highly recommended to me, but I just forgot about them almost, it felt like. But for the Hemisphere Christmas games, I needed to find a book that mostly took place where it snowed. So I searched it up in my audiobook site, and this was the first hit, and I was like, oh my god, this is the book that I haven't read yet. Why have I not read this? But it worked perfectly for the prompt, and I really liked it because it was one of those like Groundhog Day situations, because obviously our main character, don't remember her name, that is really bad. I don't have the book to like check, but anyway, main character, so she's had Christmas with her family at this cabin where there's like these 2 families that have always been best friends, and then they've had kids together. I mean, like they've raised their kids together, and then there's Benny, who's this other guy that also comes, but she's just had Christmas there and her life's kind of shit, and she puts a wish into the universe to have a better life, and then they get hit by a car, and then she wakes up on the plane again at the beginning of the holiday, and then she keeps waking up again, and it just keeps happening, and she's like freaking out obviously, but then she's got to figure out what's going to make her happy, who she's going to love. And she also awkwardly had a kiss with the younger brother. I feel like his name starts with a T. It's not Toby, is it? But Andrew was the older brother. But anyway, so the younger brother, she kissed him on the first trip, and she doesn't like him even though he kind of likes her. But then she's always had a crush on the older brother, Andrew, and like she's got to figure the shit out. But like, I really enjoyed it. It was very obvious where things were going to go, and it was a very quick read just because it was a very short story, but I enjoyed it. But I also feel like it resolved like way too quickly. But what can you expect from a story like this? And I feel like the big drama wasn't even that bad, but I liked that there was times when she was telling people about it and they're like, what the hell are you on about? And she's like, I'm trying to tell you, I've been traveling through time, help me. It was just great, and the Christmas vibes were like elite. I enjoyed that. And the last book I read this month was The Worst Best Man by Mia Souza, and this is an audiobook I've had saved since I downloaded Script back in 2019, and I don't know why I decided to listen to it, but actually I started listening to this in November and had to put it down for the readathon, but then once I had finished In Holidays, I picked it back up to try and get like another book read for the year. I really did enjoy this story. I feel like it started off really slow, but then it started to really build as I got to know the characters a bit more, and even though that's general for books, I wasn't a big fan at the start. Like, most of the time you kind of know that you're gonna have to take a little bit of time to get used to everything, but like, I kind of found them both unlikable, and the story plot was a bit like, this is intense, but also like, you're a bit annoying. But then I really got into it by the end of the book, and I really enjoyed the relationship. But something that really irritated me too is the audiobook talkers are really shit in this book, because like, they have a man and a woman to narrate the different chapters because it's a dual narration, but they don't do each other's voices in the chapters, and that made it really hard because the girl was really good at doing his voice, but he was really bad at doing her voice. And it didn't work because he'd be talking and he was good as Max's voice and she was good at Lena's voice, but when he was talking as her, he's like, oh my god, I don't even know what I want to. Like, it was this really weird quality to it, and I didn't like it. I did not like it. Like, it made it so hard to listen to. Like, I feel like I could have read this physically, would have made it easier. But I do think that the plot and general idea of the story is really crazy. So Andrew, there's another Andrew. So Andrew and Lena were going to get married, and on her wedding day he decides to jilt her and tells her that Max, his brother, told him some insight about why he shouldn't marry Lena, and he decides not to marry her. So obviously both of them are on her shit list. And then 3 years go past and she wants to get this job at this hotel that wants like a really cool wedding planner like person, and the person that she has to work with is Andrew and Max. So they turn up and she's like, oh my effing god, I haven't talked to you since my wedding. And then she pretends she doesn't know them, and then Andrew is sent to work with someone else, and Lena and Max work together because obviously working with your fiance's best man slash brother is better than working with the fiance yourself. Anyway, so there's always this issue there because it's obviously going to be really hard, because then Max and Lena start to become close and friendly, even though it's going to be really awkward because she would have been in this family and now she's in this family with the other brother. So it can be awkward, and obviously Lena's family is not a big fan of Max, but like as they start to grow and realize that they actually are really perfect for each other, and Andrew was actually not a good match for Lena, and it's honestly the best thing that Max stopped the wedding. And I just love it because it's a very slow development of them actually coming to really care for each other and to really love each other, and I just loved it so much. Like, this is such a well-written story, and I just had so much fun. And there's also another book coming out this year with directors from this book, and I'm so keen. I don't have that many books to hold up because, again, there was a lot of audiobooks, but like I'm really excited for what I did read. I am, again, hoping that I can like start bumping up the amount that I read, but it's all coming down to time and how much I feel like reading. So that is all for my wrap up today. Hopefully I do start to read more each month so I can actually get back into doing just monthly videos. But again, as I said with November, it starts to get to that time when you have a lot of stuff that you have to wrap up, and I've still got more wrap up videos I need to film that I haven't done yet. So I'm trying to figure out what's priority and like what I can leave for a bit later and what I need to have like sooner to the start of the year, what can be like in the first couple of months. So like I have a lot of videos I want to film, but I just, again, I don't have the time for it, and I still really enjoy this. I still want to be here to do these things, but like I just have no time, and then I get tired. I'm a very lazy human being, but just know that I am always here in the background. I'm always up for a chat, but like my video content creating is just getting a bit downhill, but I'm gonna try and bring it back up. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!